All right, guys, I believe this is a first from TTI. So you got Ryobi Rigid in Milwaukee. I do not believe that they have another battery operated dual action polisher on the market. So this Ryobi is going to be the first. We're gonna take a look at this dude, top to bottom, talk about every little detail about it. Stick with us. All right, this is Ryobi's new PBF100 5-inch dual action polisher. We have hook and loop here on this backer plate. Comes with 3 different pads. As you know, guys, all these pads are a different abrasiveness. Red's going to be, in this case, probably the most abrasive. Black or gray here is going to be the least. Yellow is going to be in the middle. For what I was doing, yellow was absolutely perfect. I just was cleaning up my daughter's car after the winter, trying to get everything back so we can put a quick coat of ceramic on it and let her be. This backer plate is replaceable. Comes with a wrench. That wrench simply slides in there. You can take it off. We don't need to do that. Super easy to use. Backer plate does have foam behind it, so it is slightly flexible. You can see the throw here as I kind of spin this around. I've used a lot of Rupes or Rupes, Bigfoots, and I also have the DeWalt. I do not believe that this is a 30mm throw or anything really large. It feels like a slower, lighter throw, but it still works pretty good. You have 7,500 all the way down to 3,000 RPMs. That dial is in an interesting position. You also have this on and off switch, which is where I'm used to having the dial in an interesting position. So when you're using it, to push this on, it's similar to what an angle grinder would be. You kind of have to push back so you get up over the hump and it's on. That looked pretty easy. If I continue to push down hard, up, simple. I struggle with this quite a bit while I'm using it. And it's because I'm not pushing directly in the back. I'm trying to push a little bit more to the front. It gets caught and I struggle with it. I'm not sure why, but it's just something that I personally struggle with this a little bit on. So if we turn this on, you can hear some of the things vibrating. They actually don't vibrate like that while you're using it. And I used a 6 amp hour battery. So for me to touch up, not do paint correction, just basically touch up over the winter on a Ford Escape, 2 bars. Granted, I was going pretty quick, but not too crazy. They have rubber, so if you wanted to set this down on the pad, on the car, and forward like this, no issue. If you want to turn it around, you have rubber on this handle, rubber on the back. Obviously, that's the way most people are going to set this down on the ground. Works well. You have a pummel up front so you can hang on to this dude in multiple different directions. And this handle can be placed in the right or left hand position. I have it kind of where I would use it at this point. You can flip it around. It also can be adjusted forward and back through these Allen screws and this onboard Allen wrench that is in here tight. I will say that. You can loosen both these up and it's got detents. You can angle it forward or back. So I like that this tool is in here and what I'll call in there to stay. You're not gonna have to worry about that vibrating out and falling on your car, at least in the short term. Long term, I don't know that I would keep it in this tool. It's just one more thing for that possibility to come out. In my use of this, I feel like this is a very long tool. And I've had a few occasions where I will actually flip this power switch off because I'll move my hand up closer, trying to get into a different position, and I'll push the back of the switch, turning the tool off. Not that it's a huge deal, it's just, it's a weird thing for me as I use a lot of the professional grade tools like this, and the switches are in opposite positions, so you don't accidentally turn the tool off most of the time. You might bump the RPMs slightly, but this one I bumped the switch. Other than that, the pads are thin. This is a DIY tool, so if you guys are buying this, make sure you know that you're buying it to use some sort of foam pad glaze or some sort of abrasive, probably not rubbing compound, although some people do put rubbing compound on with the DA, and you're just going at it trying to smooth out light scratches in paint or mirror finishing, paint correcting something. And you have the tools to do it, but like I said, these pads feel thin to me compared to what I'm used to, and they don't flex a whole lot to go over top of humps and valleys in the car. Not that it's a big deal, something that a DIYer needs to look at. And you can always replace these. All the pads out there are hook and loop, so you can get different brands like Rupes and Rupes, Jescar, anything like that, and just get a little thicker 5-inch pad. It's going to pop on here just the same, and you're ready to rock and roll. So as a car guy, what would I want to know before I purchase this tool? First, there's a long list of different dual action polishers on the market. Very few of them are battery. Most of them are corded. It's a 50-50 on what you want to go to, right? You need the best polisher that you can get for the buck that you're spending. And in this case, if you want a battery operated dual action polisher and you're in the Ryobi brand, this isn't bad. Know that it's smaller. 5-inch to me is going to get you into a lot of different places and get into some smaller areas, not really like the A pillar or, you know, maybe a B pillar. C pillars, yes, but you're trying to get into places that are kind of medium. This is a 7-inch is going to get you a long flat hood, really nice. This is going to take you a little bit longer on that hood. If you have a long flat hood, you want to get something a little bit bigger out. So lots of times I use multiple different tools to get through a polishing job. In this case, it's the perfect size that's in the middle for most different jobs, which is what probably niche this tool is trying to fill as a DIY tool. The pads on here, the 3 that come with it, I think it's great that they throw 3 different pads with it. The instruction manual does not tell you what abrasiveness each pad is. So if you're not familiar with how to polish your car or what you're using to polish your car, make sure you watch some videos on that so you know the abrasiveness of this foam, you know the abrasiveness of the stuff you're using, and forgive me, you could call it Perfect It from 3M, you call it Jescar, you call it foam polishing glaze. I'm just trying not to push you into a corner as to what you're going to use, but then know what you have. And if you need to buy different pads to be a little bit more comfortable, do it. You know, no big deal. These pads are not expensive. They're meant to be thrown out after some use and they start to wear and come apart. And you never want to use too much glaze. You always need to kind of prime your pad and then start going out. And you never really want to put this on like a wax where you have a huge amount that never really goes away. Again, more videos to watch on a different subject than actually this tool. So if you're in the Ryobi line, this does not take up a lot of battery. It is not crazy loud, but it does throw some vibration through to your hands, which is going to be expected with most of these tools anyway. But for the little bit that I did today, compared to the other ones that I've used, I have more of a tingling feeling in my fingers because of that vibration. And I think a lot of it has to do with not having a rubber overmold on the bottom of this tool where you're hanging onto it, and in the back where you have this long kind of handle, I guess, that's curved back. It makes me feel like this could use just a touch more grip, maybe to lessen how tight you hang on to it and then lessen that feel, the little bit of vibration that does come through the tool. I did mention the on and off switch to me fumbled me up a little bit while I'm working on the car. It's really not that big of a deal if you're a DIYer and not using this on a daily basis. Just get used to it. And then your switch or dial to raise and lower the RPM is easy to get to. It all depends on how you want to do it, with your thumb if you have larger hands, or if you want to reach around and just use your middle finger. It's easy. The RPM adjustment works. You can hear it with your ear. It changes in about 500 RPM increments. This tool worked great. I have no issue with it as a DIY tool. Again, if you're really into your cars and you're really into wanting to do this stuff like just perfect, then I would look at different pads, a little bit thicker pads. I don't think you need to go up to a 7-inch pad with this. I think it would run a 7-inch pad on light duty stuff. Stick with the 5s, maybe a 5.5. Throw it on here and take your time going through and doing a car to really get it perfect. Know what you're trying to go after. Use either the micro finishing, the medium finishing, or the heavy abrasive stuff. You can use the right pads. You'll be just fine. Watch this battery as this tip goes forward. Not sure why they didn't flip that around, because it would have been better if this was backwards and then we had more room to get in those different areas around really curvy cars. Get into a new Corvette or anything like that, this battery is going to hinder you as to how you're going to get around some of those corners. For the most part, it's going to work great for a lot of people. Just giving you my views on it from using multiple other tools in the market and just trying this one out to see how it works. We do have reviews on the DeWalt DA. We have the Rupes Bigfoot review out there also. A lot of different tools that are like this one that are pretty nice. Check them out also. I'll try to leave some links in the description. As always, guys, we appreciate your time watching this video. Give us a like if you actually liked the video, which we hope you did. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. As always, have a great day.